Hello dear subscribers and new viewers. Many of you want to know how I sketch such pictures on the Note 9. I will show you. It's not that hard. With a little practice, anyone can do it. I work with the mobile version of Autodesk Sketchbook. Autodesk Sketchbook is free and you can download it via the App Store. The link is in the video description. Today I will show you how I work and what tools I use. To show you this, we are gonna paint a mountain step by step. I hope you understand me, because my English is not the best. Okay, let's start. My canvas is a square, but the shape and the size is up to you. First, I use a brush. You can find them in the toolbar here. We start with the sky. For this, I often use the color builder. I have already prepared my most important brushes. The brushes you need are on the left side. You can change the size of the brush with this button. If you drag right or left, you change the size. And up or down the opacity or flow. Now we need a sky color. On the color wheel you can choose the right color. A cool bright blue. With a large brush size we paint the background. We start from above and get darker and darker as we came down. But the color can be different too. That's up to you. To mix the whole thing up, to blend the colors and the brightness, we use the Smudge Flat Brush 3. This is my favorite blending brush. Be careful that the flow is below 10%. The brush size should also be very large. With little strokes you can blend everything. Take your time. Take your time with all of it. You have no stress. Now the background is finished, but the clouds are still missing. For the clouds we use a salty watercolor brush. With this brush it's very easy. In order to get the clouds right, we use two colors. First, we need a light gray, like this. Paint the clouds wherever you want. Size and shape doesn't matter, but stay on the upper side of the picture. When you think you are done, you choose a very light gray and paint over the dark clouds. But the dark spots should still be visible. What follows now is really fun. We need a smudge web brush. With the smudge web brush, you blur the clouds. It always looks great. Choose your own brush size so you get the feeling. Only the flow should be low. Just plug it lightly. In seconds, the clouds looks brilliant. Now the time has come. We can start with the mountain. For this, we need a chisel tip brush. Here you can adjust the brush individually. In my tutorial, all brush settings are on default. But with the chisel tip brush, I have to change the rotation. If the phone is up, set the rotation to 43. For the base of the mountain, we need a very dark color. Like this dark blue. I set the size of the brush about 29. You can do it like me, or you can make your own shapes. There are no rules. When you're finished with the edges of the mountains, fill the rest with a larger brush size, so you are faster. With a small brush setting, you can make details. So far, so good. Now we have to decide from where the sun is shining. In my picture, the sun is shining on the right side. So, the shadow have to be made on the left side. We start with the shadow side. I will take a little lighter blue for the snow and the shade. With a small brush setting, we make stains on the shadow side, but don't grind the whole background over. Imagine a line between the shadow side and the sun side. I will do that at every summit. The line between the light and the shadow side can also be very curvy, so the mountain seems more realistic. Now we start with the sunny side. For this we need a very bright blue, almost white. Just put on the stains, but don't get too regularly. Now, with a small brush setting and with a very bright color, you can also take pure white. You make little details at the tips and the edges. Perfect. Now the mountain is almost finished. Now all you need is the smudge web brush. I blur the corners and the edges, so the whole thing gets a realistic effect. You can change the brush size at any time. The wiping direction starts from the tip. If it isn't enough snow for you, put more on it. You can take your time with it endlessly. Now the mountains are done, but we'll add a few more clouds. Important is that you need to make a new layer. You can add the layer here. We paint the clouds again with the salty watercolor brush. I take pure white. Here you can do whatever you want. Big clouds in the valley or small clouds at the top. With the smudge web brush, we are again blurring the clouds. The new layer will only blur the clouds, not the background, because they are separate. In my projects I use a lot of layers, because it makes it easier to work. Almost finished. With the flow airbrush we can still brighten up the edges. We are done. Hasn't turned out so bad. I like it. I hope you could follow and I could help you. Try it out for yourself. It's not that hard. I have created a Google Drive link. Here you can upload your work and I will show it in future videos. The link is in the video description.